So I was watching a video by Shall I Stream It here on YouTube that they posted 11 hours ago, and they talked about something that's being speculated by various sources in Hollywood and abroad, mostly in the entertainment business. And basically, that's the future of Paramount Plus. Now, he does go into great detail, um, about the whole situation and why people speculate that this could happen. Basically, from talking about how uh, the owner, basically the owner of National Amusements, who has a basically overall 87% stake in the company, is looking for a buyer, and she's met with various different CEOs from Amazon, Apple, Skydance, you name it, and even potentially some representatives from Warner Bros. Discovery. But be that as it may, despite the fact that, according to the numbers, Paramount Plus is not doing as well as it should in the streaming department, it still has 60 million, subscribers, maybe even more. But obviously the question is, that, it's being speculated around, by people. Is Paramount Plus, is it today's numbers? Is Paramount Plus gonna pretty much go, belly up, in the future? Well, depending on what Paramount decides to do, like if they do sell, if this lady does, sell this, her, her stake, her 77 to, 87% stake in the company, to somebody else, then that person or that company that gets that stake, if not outright buys Paramount, but mostly gets the stake of 87 to, 77%, according to what Shall I Stream pointed out, is ultimately it'll be up to them what they want to do with Paramount. Do they want to, basically, continue, riding it for as long as they can, knowing that, they're losing money, or are they going to want to basically say, yeah, we got to cut the cord with this, we got to sacrifice it, and move on, and potentially take all the properties that they have licensed to them to be showcased on there and license them out to other streaming platforms. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that with Sony. That is true. They brought up the fact that Sony's doing that, and it's working for them, and that's is the reason why they don't have to rely on the streaming platform. Some have said that some have pointed out that Warner Brothers, or Warner Brothers pretty much made it noted that they're going to be doing it, and we're seeing that as well. We're seeing the end result as of that as well, with Amazon taking on some of the properties that were originally meant to be on Max and such. So we're seeing this licensing out of titles and IPs happening. I mean, Amazon's going to be doing the I guess you could say the more adult oriented continuation of the original Batman animated series, very soon. We know that. I think it's called Cape Crusader or something like that, Batman Cape Crusader. And, so, and basically, we'll see if that's going to be a success in the long run, if that's going to, pan out. But, could that be a future that Paramount faces, very soon? Could they have to license out Top Gun, movies like the Top Gun Mavericks and, and the SpongeBob movies and so on, the Sonic movies and so on? And they might just have to. They might just have to do that. But here's what's interesting, though. They already technically do that. There are some movies that they have full ownership of, that they're already, basically, as I adjust my seat here, that they're already licensing out to streaming platforms like Netflix, like Amazon. And Amazon takes some of these and puts them as, as Prime exclusive. Basically, like if you got a Prime account, you can watch this for free, no problem. Netflix is the same way. You have the Netflix subscription, you can watch it, no problem. And here's what's interesting. Paramount's not the only one doing that. Universal, Comcast, they have the Peacock network or the Peacock service, and they're still licensing out their properties over to other platforms. I mean, they have a deal with Netflix to where, after what is like 6 months, 7 months of premiering on Peacock, that it's going to go over to Netflix. We're seeing that. We're seeing that being the end result. I mean, we had the Super Mario Brothers movie come out earlier this year, right? It was earlier this year. Now, towards the end of the year, look where it's at. When it went to streaming initially, it went to Peacock. And that was like back in what, the summer, if you will. And now look where it's at. It's on, before the year's out, it's on Netflix, just like it was planned. They made the announcement that that's how it's going to be. Like after a couple of months, weeks, 45 days, whatever in the theaters, the movie's going to go to streaming, and it's going to go to physical, and then towards the end of the year, or toward after a certain amount of time, it's going to go to Netflix, and that's what's going on. So could Paramount be doing that, full time in the future? Probably. They probably would be doing that. I'm not saying they would. But I look at the fact that I don't think we need to worry too much about all the speculative, stuff going on right now, because Paramount's got movies coming. We know they do. They got TV properties, streaming service properties coming. And with everything that's been worked out between, the writers and the actors in this past year in the studios, there is no doubt Paramount's going to be making their money back. There's no doubt. So I don't think we have anything to really worry about. I think what Hollywood, with the Hollywood reporters and business side of things, were believing, when they speculated this, was because of the strikes that were going on. See, to them, because the strikes were hurting businesses so much, were hurting their, the bottom dollar, if you will, so much that they didn't know whether or not something like Paramount Plus would be able to survive. And that's the same with any of the streaming platforms out there. A lot of companies felt the same way. They look. You can't tell me Disney didn't feel the same way about Disney Plus. That Warner Bros. Discovery didn't feel the same way about Max, and so on. The point is, all of them felt that way because they didn't have the writing teams and the actors and actresses they needed to help bring any projects they had originally planned and slated for 2023, and into the start of 2024, available to them. They didn't have them around because these people were striking for what they felt they rightfully deserved and eventually did get. So it's nothing new to think that this is why some people were worried and everything, about about Paramount Plus's future. Everybody lost money. And yeah, it does have to do with the after effects of COVID. I mean, those policies, thank God, some of those are going away soon too. But it did have to do something with COVID, and the aftermath that it's left behind, because people still feel fearful of it, if you will. But the thing is, but the thing is, studios and businesses always, if they thrive enough, if they're determined enough, they always find a way to bounce back. And everything that's associated with them bounces back as well. So I don't think we have to worry too much about what's going on with Paramount Plus's future, because I think Paramount's going to make sure they bounce back, and they bounce back strong, and I think 2024 is going to show that.